Coaches and service providers, this training will show you how to sell more of your products and services using a high ticket or application funnel. Please download the complimentary checklist. It goes along this training.
The funnel for an online business coach is what's called an application funnel or a high ticket funnel. Both are interchangeable. And I particularly learned this concept when I was reading the book .com Secrets and Expert Secrets. Now, here is how the flow of this particular funnel works. Number one is what's called the landing page, the squeeze page, the lead capture page. They all mean the same thing. Now, that page is typically, for an online coach, is more like a case study page, something like that, or a page that you're basically going to share as sort of a training, a free video, free webinar. Now, typically, with an online coaching business, you're not really selling directly because you're selling a high-ticket product, high-ticket service. And when you're getting started, you really want to focus on talking to as many people as possible. So when you're inviting them on that first page, the landing page, what you want to do is you want to collect their name and their email. You don't want to collect first name, last name, phone number, email. Just collect the first name and the email. And then you want to make sure you also have what's called an exit pop-up. So in case they end up on this page and they try to leave, there's a little pop-up that says, don't leave empty-handed, and then only ask for the email address on the pop-up. This is very important because your conversions, the more information you ask, the lower your conversions are going to be. So ask as little questions as possible. Now, you're going to offer a free video, free case study, and so on. Now, they're going to automatically be redirected to what's called a thank you page. Now, that thank you page is going to have a free video from you. Now, on that page, you do not want to have anything besides a video. Now, this is really important because you want to keep them focused. Now, the video needs to tell them very specifically why they should pay attention to you in the first place. Why should even watch? Because chances are they're going to watch the first 10, 15 seconds. And if they're not interested in what you're about to tell them, they're going to leave. So make sure your first 10, 15 seconds has a really good hook, really good point of interest for them. Now, I'm going to give you an example. Let's just say you are a health coach and your particular health coach is going to help them with losing weight. So you're going to need to give them a hook that's going to talk to them as the ideal customer, that is really going to talk to them and speak to them, that is something they need to pay attention to. So for example, you could say something like, if you are a woman in your 40s who is experiencing menopause and is struggling with losing weight, this next 10 minutes is going to tell you the 3 key things that you're probably doing wrong or that are going through right now in your life that you can make instant changes to be able to improve your diet. So stick with me. I'm going to share with you those things right now. Then you're going to go through those 3 key points. And this is just an example of a demo of something you could do as a hook. Now, I could give you different examples of different hooks, different examples, things like that, depending on the niche, obviously. I'm just giving you a totally random example of something that I don't even necessarily know, but I'm just kind of made it up on the go. Now, when you do that video, you want to keep that video to 5 to 15, max 20 minutes. You really want to be as punctual and efficient as possible. What I recommend is before you actually record this video is you actually outline on a Google Doc what it is you want to say. And then you can even read it out, just like a script. So yes, at the beginning it's going to come scripted, but once you read it a few times, then you'll get comfortable with it and you'll be able to do it in a way more efficient fashion. Now, in terms of how to record it, what I recommend is you use a software called Tela.tv. If you go to aran.link/Tela tutorial, you're going to see me going through that exact process. And the reason I recommend using Tela.tv is because I'm fairly comfortable with camera. Like, I'm recording this particular training session on the fly, no script, no nothing. And I've done this a lot of times, so I'm more comfortable with that. But I know a lot of people getting started, you're not comfortable with that. And what Tela.tv lets you do is you can actually create a chapter. So you can record 10 seconds, pause, 10 seconds, pause, and everything gets stitched together automatically without any video editing required. And it's just a really good tool for that purpose. So you'll be able to have a script. You can read out that script for that one paragraph or one sentence, pause the video. Then you'll do the next, the next, the next, the next, the next. You'll come out with a 10, max 15 minutes video, basically. And that video is going to be your case study video. Now, in that video, at the end, you want to also make it very clear to them that you are inviting them to speak with you and hop on a Zoom call with you. Now, that Zoom call is what's known as a discovery call or a consultation, a free consultation, things along these lines. Depending on what it is you're selling, you might want to come up with a creative way because, when you use the word discovery call, that can come across like it's a sales call in disguise, and you don't want it to come across that way. You want to come out in a way that's really authentic and aligns with how you want to position yourself. Maybe hop on a chat, things along these lines. In my business, I call it software consultation because that's what I consult people. I consult people what software to use in their online business. So that's what I call mine, and it's a very relevant name, basically. So that's an example. Now, I don't sell a high ticket, but it's still relevant to I inviting somebody to book a call, and that's the name that I use. Now, what you want to do is below the video, you want to have a button. Now, that button is going to basically invite them to fill in a questionnaire before they book a call with you. Now, in the beginning of your journey as an online coach, you want to ask as little questions as possible because you don't want people to not book a call with you because you ask too many questions. This is called a filter. As you become more in demand, your prices are higher, you've done a bunch of calls, you've gotten to know a few more people, you're getting a little bit more booked out. Yes, you absolutely want to add questions to filter. So the filtering process is basically as short or as long as you want in alignment with how many calls you really want to have. Because at some point you'll be like, I don't want to waste my time talking to people who are not qualified. So you might want to ask a question in the questionnaire that asks, in case we decide that we want to go ahead with a coaching program, are you prepared to invest $1,000 or more in your personal development or whatever it is? Now, you want to make them say yes to that question before they book a call because the whole point is that you want to get qualified prospects to speak with you on the call. Now, again, if you were to do that at the very beginning, I assure you, you'll get nobody booking a call with you. So you want to be very conscious on the filter, how much filter you're putting in, because really at the beginning, you want to talk to as many people as possible, okay? So that is how you create that particular questionnaire. In terms of software you use for something like that, typically I recommend you use a software called Calendly or Tidycal. Calendly is great if you want to use Calendly because you have multiple types of calls that you can have people book a consultation or a one-on-one or a group coaching or a podcast collaboration. If you have a bunch of them, then Calendly is probably the better option. But if you're just getting started, you can just get a software called Tidycal. It's actually a one-time payment option, and you'll be able to get that. You can go to around.link/Tidycal to check it out. Depending on when you're watching this, I assume it's probably $29 or $39 one-time payment, and it works just fine, and it gives you an option for a calendar, and it works great. Now, you can add as many questions as you want, but again, depending on the stage of the business you're at, you want to ask questions that are relevant, that are going to filter your ideal customer. For example, here I'll give you a bunch of questions example. One question you can ask is, are you interested in one-on-one coaching with somebody for, to get X result? And you tell them what the result is. You want to ask them, but they say, yes, this is what I want, okay? Another question you can ask is, what are your challenges in achieving XYZ result? And then you have them list that out, okay? Another example, have you invested in high-level one-on-one coaching program in the past? Yes, no. Have you invested in group coaching in the past? Yes, no. Because those questions kind of filter people who've actually invested in themselves as well. Another question is, are you coachable? You can ask questions like that, or you can have them tell me an example of a time where you were coachable. So you're basically asking them questions that sometimes maybe the question doesn't matter as much, but these questions that kind of filter people that are ready to actually work with a coach, basically. Okay, so the point is that you're just asking all these questions and you're filtering those. Now, you could do another way where you're asking those questions, where you can have them ask all these questions and Only if you like the answers, you then give them a calendar link. Now, the way to do that is you will just have a Google form, and they will submit the Google form, you will get the questions, and you will reply to them in 24 hours with the answer, basically. So that's another way, but typically I just recommend you do Calendly because it's just going to be much easier that way, especially in the early stages, because it goes straight to a calendar booking, okay? So that is page number 2. That's the thank you page. Now, in Calendly and in Tidycal, you have what's called a URL redirect. That's page number 3. The URL redirect is basically, okay, after somebody books a call with you, you can send them to a specific page on your website. That will be the 3rd page in your high ticket or application funnel. Now, that 3rd page is basically the after booking thank you page. Now, that particular booking page is actually known as the homework page. Now, the homework page is where a lot of the selling is actually going to take place. Because let's just say that they're going to book a call with you in a week from now, or in 2 days from now, or in 24 hours from now. Here's what's going to happen. You have this time between when they just booked the call to when they're actually going to hop on a Zoom call with you. You want to make sure that you are really making the most out of it. Now, you can make the most out of it by giving them helpful resources. So by the time they get on the call, they are way more educated, way more enlightened, way more in sync with who you are and what you do and your coaching process in order to actually sign up for your coaching program. Now, in the homework page, you can have different things that are free training that you're providing in alignment with your coaching philosophy. You can have different checklists. You can have different templates. You can have different guidebooks. You can, and this is an important point, you don't actually have to use your own resources. You can have 3 really good educational content from YouTube, from someone else's channel that maybe you want to use as content in the beginning. And that way, by the time they come to you, they're going to have already looked at those things and get more enlightened. Now, they're going to associate this value with you because you're the one who told them to do this homework. And you want to do a thank you video on that page saying, thank you so much for booking the call. Really excited to speak with you. Now, before we hop on a Zoom call, if you have time, I would love for you to go through some of the free resources that I've prepared for you in order to really maximize the call, because we're going to do a deep dive in that call. And if you are familiar with the resources that I'm going to share with you on this homework page, you're going to really maximize our call and time together. So I would love for you to take the time to go through these resources. And by the time we can hop on a Zoom call, we're going to have so much fun mapping out a plan for your journey to achieve XYZ result. So there will be an example of a thank you page. And then below that video, you're going to put all these awesome resources. Now, it is imperative that you also email them all these resources as well, because you want to do a follow-up as well. Because sometimes people, when they go through this funnel journey, at every step, they might be busy. They might not have time for it. So you want to have an email that goes out at every single step as well to take them through that journey. That's the whole point of the funnel. Then, of course, when it comes to actually speaking to them on Zoom and doing all that, you want to make sure all the automations are done where they get the emails, reminders, and all that stuff. That happens through Tidycal and Calendly, depending on which one you're using. And then when you hop on a Zoom call, you want to have your order form, your checkout page already prepared. So if you decide they're a good fit, they decide they want to work with you, you can give them the checkout form to actually sign up right away so you can close the deal while you are on the call. And of course, have the thank you page, the final thank you page, which will have a couple of things. It will have the booking call for the first session. Maybe you want to have an onboarding questionnaire, which is what you would use probably a Google form for. And also you want to have, if you have a contract, you want to have a contract ready for that as well. Now, because sometimes when you're signing up somebody to work with you one-on-one, you may want to have some sort of a contract or a contract agreement, something like that. So you want to have a e-signature software and stuff like that. If you go to around.link/feel faster, that's a coaching software, or it's an agreement software, basically like an e-sign software that you could use. And this is a deal that I structured with that particular company where you can actually get it for a really good price. So you can get those contracts signed as a coach, basically. Now, if you haven't noticed, there is a lot of moving parts that we've discussed. And I'm going to give you a recap. Landing page, the very beginning. Thank you page, for the case study, for the video that you're going to invite them to book a call, button to book a call, calendar booking, basically. Thank you page after booking, checkout page where they're going to sign up if you actually end up closing them on the call, a thank you page at the end after they sign up so you can get them through the onboarding, and you're going to have emails for every step of the journey, client agreement software, e-signature, and then you're going to need to familiarize yourself with different software tools. The e-signature software is number one, Google Forms and Google Sheets as well if you want to get the information, a calendar software, the landing page funnel email marketing software, and so on. So there's a lot of moving parts and a lot of things that you need to be aware of as well. But I wanted to give you a little bit of the high-level overview of how all that works.